administration, and I want to get your take on this, as Joe Biden, through executive action, so not congressional action, but Joe Biden, through executive action, is now saying, hey, I'm going to make it so that about 500,000 people who are here in this country illegally, but they are married or getting married to someone who is a United States citizen, get married real fast, to a United States citizen. And so he's going to make it so that they can stay here. They will not face deportation. 500,000 people. And not just that, if they have children who they also have here, who are here illegally. So that's the headline. And this is a big announcement by the Biden administration. So I know I've backed into the story that we're learning new details about this mom. And by all accounts, beautiful young mom. I know you've heard the story, but we're learning new information, new details about this murder victim. She was out for a jog in a place that she loved in her home. She's a legal United States citizen. I talked yesterday a lot about, the Biden administration, according to Republicans, making it easy for people who are illegals to lie, to just lie. Now, the answer from Democrats is, well, there's no evidence of all of this. Well, if it's really, they say, well, it's not happening. It's already against the federal, laws for somebody to be an illegal immigrant, non-U.S. citizen. It's already illegal for them to vote. It's a felony. So why in the world do you need to go further? I mean, just take everybody's word for it. But we've been talking about the fact that it's fairly easy, especially in at least 19 states and D.C., for individuals to go and apply for, let's say, government aid. And while they're there, hey, do you want an ID? Hey, you can register to vote. You just sign a thing. Are you here legally? Are you a U.S. citizen? All you have to do is check, yes, I'm a citizen. That's it. No proof of anything. Now, here in Pennsylvania, I'll point out to you that you do, if you go to DMV, you have to show multiple forms of identification, including your birth certificate, things of that nature. But let's get into the murder story of a mom of 5, her family speaking out. Let's play this audio. This is from a local station from her local town. Listen in. The story of the victim, the murder victim's family, Marin. Do we not have it? Okay, sorry about that. This is the local story. Is it not playing? We're having some technical problems. Sorry. I know we have it because I was back in the edit booth with Henry Machette when he was cutting this audio. So we'll get to that one. But I know you've heard of this murder victim whose family is now speaking out. We're hearing from the father of her children. His name is McMahon. So he's somebody who's speaking out, as well as her family, saying she's beloved. She leaves behind 5 children, mother of 5, and murdered allegedly by an illegal immigrant. And so this is the case as far as what's going on here and who is this alleged killer. We're learning more about the alleged killer of Rachel Morin. And you can't even imagine her 5 children and her brother speaking out, her ex speaking out, the father of her children speaking out, many speaking out about this and talking about the consequences of an administration that has just allowed dangerous individuals, unvetted, to come across our, especially southern border, but also northern border, in this case, southern border. So let's listen in.
More than 10 months of sorrow, searching, and anxious awaiting here in Harford County.
It feels fake. It doesn't feel real.
Finally.
They said we got him.
Ending with an arrest made halfway across the country.
I brought flowers and placed them on the rock at the trailhead, and I took down the flyers with Victor's sketch.
Speaking with us just outside of where Rachel Morin's body was found brutally beaten in August of last year. The father of her oldest child, Matt McMahon, recounting the 1 a.m. phone call he feared may never come.
Before answering the phone, just looking at the name and knowing the time, I knew what it meant.
What's running through your head when you're getting that call?
Joy, relief, gratitude.
Local law enforcement delivering the late night news. Rachel's suspected killer taken off the streets in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Hopefully, he will never have the opportunity to walk free again.
The reason for his whereabouts in the Midwest remain unknown. Local and federal authorities claiming 23-year-old Victor Martinez Hernandez was living in the U.S. illegally. The DNA used to track him down, allegedly linked to a home invasion and assault in California and another murder in his home country of El Salvador.
Victor Hernandez did not come here to make a better life for himself or for his family. He came here to escape the crime he committed in El Salvador. He came here and murdered Rachel, and God willing, no one else. But that should have never been allowed to happen.
For McMahon and his 18-year-old daughter, Faye.
But recent news that I received made me want this day to come that much more.
The timing of this tragic chapter coming to a close, taking a poetic turn.
Because Faye told me that she's going to introduce a little girl into the world later this year.
As the start of a beautiful new beginning ushers in a mix of emotions.
It's a happy moment and a sad moment too, because Rachel should be here for that moment. And Faye should be able to give that news to Rachel, to tell Rachel you're going to be a grandmother. But she can never give that news.
McMahon saying the pain of an unimaginable loss will never go away, but at least relief it won't happen again.
Coming to this trail finally feels different.
Now leads the path forward.
I felt like up to this point, Victor had taken this trail from us, but now this trail's Rachel's again.
And so you hear there, as far as the authorities arresting Victor Martinez Hernandez in the killing of Rachel Morin, who you heard about. She's a Hartford County, Maryland mother of 5, and a grandmother in heaven, I guess you might say, of her oldest daughter, who you just heard, the future granddad, talking about that with sort of bittersweet emotion, right? She was found near that popular hiking trail that she loved. She was a very fit young mom, 5 kids, very active. Her kids have been through hell. Let's just say it like it is. But this happened in August of 2023. And so this guy, Hernandez, he is 23 years old. Authorities say he illegally crossed the border into the United States, the southern border, back in February of 2023 after he murdered another young woman in his home country of El Salvador a month earlier, that according to authorities. And so it wasn't until law enforcement, and we see this here in the region, in our region, with these different, crime rings, if you will, high crime areas where they bring over these individuals and then they travel a lot. So they're in between New York, Philadelphia, California, and sometimes they do get the DNA. So thank God they did get some DNA evidence on him. It tested, and they found a match in their computer, and that was the only way that they were able to track this guy down. For this one, I know the victim, Rachel Morin, her brother Michael has been speaking out. The family has been speaking out. It's just, to me, this is exactly, the type of thing where we have enough to deal with the defund the police movement, right? And I'll get into that in a moment in Philadelphia and talk about what Mayor Parker says is historic, as she ran on the fact as a mayoral candidate. She ran against the progressive ideas of defund the police. And she's showing that. She's actually showing that. And I give her props for that. And we'll get into that in a moment. But you think about it, we have enough to deal with. High crime, all the lawlessness, everything going on. But now it is supersized, and maybe just maybe, not even in ways that we fully realize. In other words, I just want you to think about it's like the perfect, imperfect storm, if you will, the defund the police movement, the pandemic, and all the wrongful shutdowns that we now know are, total BS, right? With all the shutdowns, everything that happened there, all the lawlessness, the opioid epidemic, all of this happening, and then think of Biden just whoosh, opening the borders and this flood of individuals. And we're just now, I think, wrapping our brains around the fact of how many of these individuals came through pretending that, oh, they were just here for a better life, which, hope to God, I think most individuals who are coming to this country are coming for a better life and for the American dream. But how much of a percentage of, I don't know, 11 million, some claim 20 million. So what's the percentage of those, even if it's 2%, let's say 2% of an estimated 11 to 20 million are people coming here to commit crimes and to commit evil. They're criminals. How many? What's the percentage? You're talking about huge numbers of individuals. And like this guy, he's been in the country for over a year doing God knows what. And that's why you have the authorities during their news conference when they were announcing this. That's why the authorities said, we hope that we've taken this guy off the streets in time. I'm paraphrasing here, but in other words, that they're doing all of these, running the matches, DNA matches across the nation with the computer because they fear, and this is what they're saying behind the scenes, they fear that she's not the only victim. Who else is out there? Who else? What other children, what other families are grieving because of this? And so it's adding insult to injury that you have President Joe Biden planning to announce and celebrate his sweeping new policy through executive order that he says will lift the threat of deportation for hundreds of thousands of people who are married. Now, I don't know, what if you get married? See, that's another question I have. Well, what if you get married? And by the way, how do you prove that you've been here 10 years? How does that work? Now, they said, they have to have been here for 10 years. Does that mean that you have an official marriage certificate that says you were married more than 10 years or more? Where's the proof? How do you prove that? Through what documentation? See, I have a lot of questions about this. It's an aggressive election year action, and the aggressive election year action, that's a quote from, so-called mainstream media. Aggressive election year action. And by the way, what does that mean? These 490,000 plus spouses. What does that mean? Does that mean they get to vote this November? And by the way, what about their children who are illegals? If let's say they're marrying a U.S. citizen, but they have come over with kids who were their kids before they came here and not by the U.S. citizen. Do you see what I'm saying? So we'll go through all of it. We have to take a quick break. We have a guest on the other side. So stay right here. I appreciate you. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. You know that I love sports. I love them so much, I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games. And the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open up the app, dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And during the summer, FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. Head Head over to FanDuel.com/Dom and make the most out of your summer. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT, FanDuel official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. You have to be 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head, and just over $30,000. That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask like 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. Optima Tax Relief. They're the best in the business.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Did you know you can stream Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app? Just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio to hear the voices you trust. Brian Kilmeade.
Why are we so scared of Iran thinking that we're at war with them?
Guy Benson.
Get the bleep out of here. It's disgusting.
Jimmy Fallon.
Then this administration rolled into town with a checkbook.
Are all on the free Odyssey app. From the news and talk to keep you informed and up to date during election season. Listen to Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Hey, Clementon. Yeah! We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
You know, we often talk about, well, a couple of things that I want to get into today, but we do have word of the Surgeon General of the United States of America talking about mental health and talking about giving a warning that maybe social media should be, should be labeled, if you will. Social media labeled with a cigarette-style warning. The U.S. Surgeon General warning, this is bad for your health, could cause, et cetera, et cetera. And so the Surgeon General speaking out, and this has been making headlines as this U.S. Surgeon General has said that social media apps really need warning labels, and citing the fact that we have a crisis in our country with mental health, with young people who use these social media apps, and with body shaming that happens, all kinds of other issues that, the Surgeon General, Murthy, he argued that this label should be applied to social media applications similar to those that appear on containers of, for example, alcoholic beverages, tobacco products, and that the warnings will spell out the specific risks associated with using the product. How would that work? Like on TikTok, when you're trying to watch on something and you click on it and then the big warning comes up, and would it only be visual? Or would there be a big spooky voice? Warning, children, warning, warning, like Will Robinson, warning, like the robot show, right? The robot movie. Warning, this may be bad for your mental health. Stay away, children. Go help your mother with laundry. I don't know. But is that something that you believe in? Well, this is Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy. He is making the case for the warnings. Let's bring in our friend, Lee Richardson, who's, as you know, a brain health expert and somebody who's so positive energy. I don't know, Lee, I think maybe you should come on, speak with positive energy to combat whatever negative they're watching. Maybe that would be the best way.
Well, I'd be willing to give that a shot because I think that part of me, have a problem with it, but the other part of me, I recognize that there are a lot of people that do not recognize the downfall of social media. And if that's one way that we can educate, that we can create an awareness that can help our youth, because that's who's suffering from it. Mm-hmm. And the long-term effects of mental health and the numbers, even with our adolescents, are so incredibly high that I'm almost, I take it so seriously that I'm almost to the point I'll support anything that can improve that situation.
Yeah, it's sure, if not for anything else, it has us all talking once again about the issue and the relationship between social media and mental health issues. Although, to me, I think that the mental health issue, I think, was supersized during the pandemic for multiple reasons, with the masks, with kids not in school and their routine disrupted and all of that. So I think that's a piece of it. So I think it all started pre-pandemic. I just think it was, like I say, intensified, if you will, during the pandemic, because kids were, let's say they were learning at home virtually. So now they're just on their device even more. They're forced on the device, where maybe in school they were, they had to at least put away the devices. So I think that's a piece of it. But what's your advice, Lee, as a parent, as a brain health coach, consultant, expert, and a licensed professional counselor? What's your advice to a parent, grandparent, caregiver who's listening right now, and they're saying, I don't know how to handle this, as far as all of the social media, the pressure put on kids, boys and girls?
Well, I think the most important thing to do is to, yes, your kids get on social media, hop on there with them. Sit there with them while they explore it. See, does it upset them? Do they get angry? Do they get sad? What are they experiencing? Because if you want to help them manage their social media, you need to be a part of it. And I think that's something that and it's just, people don't have extra time. And I have a client that she's got 4 kids. And yes, she admits that social media is a problem in her house, but she's also a single mom.
Yeah.
And, it's just realistically, Lee, is that what I really need to be worried about?
Yeah.
So I think that you just have to participate in their social media with them so that you can answer that question for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And what about the whole body shaming issue? And I will tell you, so my teenage sons, even my youngest son who's in high school, talks about when he went through this phase where, his husky phase, if you will, and he was about to have a growth spurt, and how self-conscious he became because he had gained weight, and not just maybe a friend on the football team, teasing him, but social media making kids so aware of the way they look. A lot of people think it's all girls, but it's not. It's the boys too. And this is, I would say, the age it really starts is as young as 8, 9 years old.
I agree with that. And I think that boys are impacted by it just as much as girls are. Girls, they may express it differently, but either way, if you're bullied, and even if that bullying is just verbally, hey, chubby, that hurts. And that sticks in your head. And I think that when you're bullied at school and one other person hears somebody call you chubby, it's really different than when it's done on social media and 300 people see that post. So I think that social media does intensify, and we're all so conscious of how we look and what we wear, because now we can see everything that everybody else wears.
Yes.
And the thing that I don't like about social media, it turns us into a comparative society. And when you're comparing, you got a winner and a loser.
It's so true. As far as the one thing I notice with the girl, well, I should say boys too, because the big thing is, their personal, like, hair and skin routine, right? Skincare. My teenager said, "Mom, I need to have a skincare routine." I said, "What?" And I don't know if it was a combo of social media, but also maybe the other kids at school and the girls at school. But it's one thing that I noticed with all of these different, like Sephora and all these different places, Ulta, you go in and spend a fortune. These influencers obviously are paid, and it's almost like, product placement from back in the day where people would smoke cigarettes or, the sponsor was happening. They had to say it was a sponsor. Influencers nowadays go on social media. They're not necessarily saying, hey, this product, this beauty product or this clothing product, this is my sponsor. I get all this stuff for free. they're not required by law to say that. But in broadcasting, obviously, for traditionally, there are laws that say if you have a sponsor and and you are being paid to talk about it, or you're getting something for free or whatever, you have to say that. You have to divulge that. There are no such laws with influencers, some of whom make six figures. Some of them make millions. Isn't that a case? I think that isn't that a case where maybe either we, the public, educate our kids and young people, or maybe that's a requirement?
I think that is a really valid point, is because influencers, they do exactly that. But when you stop and you ask, I have a niece, and well, where did she get her knowledge of that? Or did she go to school? And a lot of times there's no background that supports that knowledge level. Mm-hmm. And that I encourage all young people to look at the source. I mean, if there's so much good information online, but where are you getting it? Yeah. And I think that finally we're starting to recognize that there are good places to get information and there are not so good places.
Now, I have to ask you about something that I have to be careful because this affects many of my family members who are mom influencers. And I know there are studies, there are investigations looking at, the pros and cons, let's say, of being a mom influencer, showing your kids all the time, daily, hourly, on social media. And so just, I know there are privacy issues and there are facial recognition issues and all of that. From where you stand as a brain health, coach and specialist, what's your advice to those parental or grandparent influencers who are on a routine basis showing their kids, doing videos of kids and grandkids all over social media?
Well, my advice is this. Just remember two things. Number one, you're modeling behavior. And number two, what you put out on social media lives forever. Mm-hmm. It may have been funny one day. You may have been comfortable with it when you did it. But a year or two later, things change. Life gets in the way. Mm-hmm. And you may or may not want that to be part of your digital legacy.
Oh, that's a great take and something different. I wanted to get into, because we have this severe weather, I think 200 plus million Americans impacted by the the heat wave, and talk about the heat. Again, my boys will be out, on a football field this afternoon. They've tried to change some of the practices so they're later when it's a little bit cooler as far as football and, throws, shot put, that sort of thing. As far as people who have to work out in this or go out and you don't have a choice, it's not an athletic, it's not a school sport, that sort of thing, where maybe they'll work with the kids. What would you say about, as far as brain health? It's not something we think of often, Lee, when we think about athleticism, athletes out there, workers, all of the construction going on. I think about these construction workers, Lee, who they're forced out here and they're working, at least 8 hours a day and on the hot pavement in the heat. Is it tough on your brain health, if you will?
Absolutely. I mean, fatigue gives you brain fog. You lose your clarity, and you have to think about it. The brain weighs 3 pounds. The brain is 80% water, and the brain does not have the ability to retain water. So, the best thing that people that work out in the heat can do is to stay hydrated. And sometimes that's the most difficult, because if you're working outside, you don't have that access, or you forget it. You leave it in the car. It's not always top of mind, but for people that are required to be outside, to stay hydrated, because when you become dehydrated, that affects the way your brain works. And you can't separate the brain and the body. They're connected. When you're dehydrated, that autonomic nervous system gets thrown out of balance. So it has an overall impact on what you do and how well you do it.
Yeah, it's so true. And I always say make sure it affects everybody's brains, even our doggies. My dog Buddy was out for maybe 30 seconds. He's older, and he was just panting. I gave him more cold water, but I always say, please protect your pets as well, because sometimes people forget that they're impacted by the bite as well, physically, and their brain health too.
Well, and thank you for mentioning that, because they are impacted. And we don't, we think, oh, they're a dog. Well, they have the same body brain. That it's not the same brain, but it impacts their body in the same way. Is what I was trying to say.
Yes, I hear you, Lee Richardson. Thank you so much for joining me. We appreciate all of your insights, your positive energy, your expertise. Until next time, thanks, Lee.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
We'll talk more about all the latest here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the George Norcross. I mean, wow, they're calling it, you should see the national media saying it's like an atomic bomb being set off on Jersey machine politicians. Is that really what's going on? So I'll give you my insights as well. Appreciate you. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
So many financial firms claim to be fiduciaries, but do any of them provide legally binding documentation to put your best interests first? Crash Proof Retirement is the only firm in the nation that records all financial meetings, making your meeting legally binding.
Lou Marinucci, Langhorne, Pennsylvania. When the market goes down and then Wall Street still makes money, they're looking out for themselves more than they're looking out for you as the client. It's not a fiduciary responsibility. I don't have that problem here with Crash Proof Retirement. Crash Proof Retirement can assure their customers that they will come out on the positive side, because by recording their meetings, it makes them legally bound to do exactly what they say. And that's what a fiduciary is supposed to do.
Guarantee legally binding transparency for your retirement future. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Downingtown Country Club, July 23rd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Introducing the Honickman Center at Jefferson Health. Outpatient care designed by patients like you. Together, we're shaping the future of medicine, where advanced technology and comprehensive services ensure convenience and accessibility for all patients. Everything you need to simplify the complexity of care is available in one location. Uncompromising care delivered by world-class physicians. To schedule an appointment, call 1-800-JEFF-NOW.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano inviting you to join me in Wildwood at Mulligan Shore Bar this Friday, June 21st, to celebrate Dom Giordano Day in Wildwood. We have an action-packed day planned, national guest of honor Scott Presler joining us, lots of local guests, and of course, entertainment by Burning Sky, the ultimate Bad Company tribute band. It'll be a great day in Wildwood. Blow off work Friday. Join me at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood starting at noon. Mulligan's at 310 West Hildreth Avenue in Wildwood. Details at 1210WPHT.com.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. And we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
you can host the best backyard barbecue. When you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey is known for being South Jersey's diamond destination and your trusted jeweler for quality, service, and price. Choose from the largest selection of engagement rings in the area or have their master jewelers create a one-of-a-kind ring just for your special day. Visit their showroom or shop online at familyjewelers.com.
Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-688-6641.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
And we are sponsored this morning in our forecast. All the heat is on. We're sponsored by United Tire. So beware, you've been warned. Although the thermometer only says 91 degrees today and tomorrow because of the humidity. When you go outside and you just can feel that heat and the humidity. Feels like you can swim in the air, right? And all of these also air quality alerts going out in cities like Philadelphia in our region. Not the Jersey Shore, obviously, but air quality alerts, because when the humidity is so thick, as they say, you can cut it with a knife. I don't know if you've been out. I was out yesterday just trying to take Buddy out for a little bit. Man, it was just so hot. Buddy was like lifting his paw just even on the patio. He's like, oh, I want to go back inside. This is crazy. But you got to think about the doggies. You got to think about yourself. Make sure you're hydrated, as Lee Richardson said, but as well, we just want everybody to be safe. The worst of it hits later this week, and that's when we're in the upper 90s. So it'll feel like, 110, 120, but with the humidity, it doesn't look like this heat wave is going to really break until next Monday. Finally, we'll get some rain to break the thing later in the day, and that'll tee us up to reach the 80s on Tuesday. Sponsored by United Tire. If you drive a car, you want it to last, not cost you a ton in the long run. So get your car to United Tire and Service. Visit one of their 10 locations throughout the Delaware Valley. Visit UnitedTire.com, UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone, drive united. So let's talk about it. Biden's Title IX rule that I've talked a lot about that was supposed to, and remember, this was my question to Donald J. Trump when Nikhil and I interviewed him for Kale and Company a few Fridays ago. And that one made a lot of national news, didn't it? But one of my questions to ask President Trump about this was the Title IX ruling going into effect August 1st and what it would mean. And he said on day one that that would be erased, that he wants to protect everybody, right? And that's something that I want to bring you to when I look at the headlines. New York Times, the Biden administration's new Title IX rules are blocked in 6 more states. Okay, that one's okay. How about ABC News? How about this one? Do you think this is fair? Yes or no? Biden's Title IX rule change temporarily blocked over LGBTQ protections. That's how they word it. AP, Associated Press. What do you think about this one? You think this is biased? Biden's Title IX law expanding protections for LGBTQ plus students is dealt another blow, another setback. Let's see another one. This is NPR. Judge blocks Biden Title IX rule in 6 states, including Kentucky. That's a local station. Okay, it blocks. Okay, that one's okay. And then this is another local NPR station. U.S. judge in Kentucky blocks Title IX rules, says sex, gender, identity, not the same thing. So all of these headlines, you know what I'm pointing at. When ABC News or the Associated Press and these individuals creating these headlines, they will claim that they are mainstream, that they are unbiased. That's a lie. It is bias when you say that they're trying to expand protections for LGBTQ plus students, right? That's the wording, LGBTQ protections. Because the truth is, everybody deserves to be protected, right? And that's what we're really talking about. Everybody deserves to be protected, particularly when you're thinking about underage students, whether they're in high school or maybe they're a teenager, maybe they're in just starting out in college. And I've done all of these interviews at UPenn locally to talk to women as young as 18, 19, 20. I mean, they're not old enough to drink alcohol, right? They're students. And yet they're subjected in a locker room to somebody who says, well, I identify as a female, even though my body that you're looking at naked in the locker room or what have you is a male body with all the male body parts. And so what's going on here is that we have, I know that we've talked about the fact that the Supreme Court has, taken this up, but we have a federal judge temporarily blocking the Biden administration's Title IX expansion from going into effect in Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. So this is a U.S. District Judge, Danny Reeves, criticizing the Department of Education in a decision just issued yesterday, saying that it fails to provide a reasoned explanation for departing from its longstanding interpretations regarding the meaning of sex and providing virtually no answers to many of the difficult questions that arose during the public comment phase. And so back in April, and you remember I've been covering this, and from a local angle, local schools, even schools locally who felt they dealt with this by offering multiple different bathrooms so that everybody's protected and everybody feels comfortable, in their safe space. So if you identify as a female or a male, no matter what, you have a bathroom, a special protected space just for you. I mean, there are school districts and school boards that have really bent over backwards to try to, in light of this making headlines, really trying to make sure everybody feels okay and they feel safe and all of that. But locally, I know school districts that have said, you know what, though, if you're a biological female, you should be able to go into a bathroom and a bathroom stall and feel safe, and especially a locker room where you're changing. And so they tried to create different spaces for different folks to make sure that everybody's rights are respected. Do you see what I'm saying? Even those individuals were worried because they were saying, they're going to pull our federal funding, because the directive from the Biden administration was, no. You can't have a separate bathroom for somebody who identifies as the opposite gender from what they were born. That's not okay. You have to let a biological male go into the girls' bathroom or the girls' locker room. That's it. And so now this is going on as all these different states, and I've told you about it, not Pennsylvania, but all these different states that have sued, and now they're winning. And so now the headlines are, these conservative states and these evil, MAGA conservatives, this and that. No, that's not what this is about. What about the girls? What about protecting women and girls? I can't even believe we're having this conversation in 2024. And I can't believe it that so-called feminists are not going to stand up. In particular, when a woman or girl says, hey, by the way, I was assaulted at some point. I was an assault. I'm a survivor. I can't do this. I can't be in my locker room feeling safe. And there is a biological male naked in my locker room changing. It's not okay. And then they get shamed. I mean, for crying out loud. It's amazing the effort, the lengths that they'll go to disrespect women and girls. That's what's really happening here. Protect everybody. Protect everybody's rights. But unfortunately, partisan politics have made their way into this situation. I don't know. What's the answer? Is the answer to pull Title IX? I mean, this was a Nixon era idea. Is Title IX itself a bad idea? Is Title IX really just discrimination? And even discriminate, because that was the debate, if you look it up, that was the debate of Title IX. Was it discrimination? Is it discrimination against boys and men in sports? Is the real problem rooted in Title IX itself? Should scholarships for girls be offered in a privatized way? That way the government cannot weaponize them. Is that the real answer? 855-839-1210 is the number to call. I have to talk about my friends. Oh, because summer is upon us and there is no time like the present to get back out on the roads. And my friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, they're going to help you find that luxury vehicle you've been eyeing. Piazza has thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles from brands such as Mercedes-Benz, Land Rover, Jaguar, Maserati, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, and so much more. Just visit them, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Stop by one of their many PA, Delaware, or New Jersey dealers. PIAZZA, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Tell them Dolan sent you.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
I'm petrified of heights. I don't like to be spun in circles. I can't do like the tilt-a-whirl. Makes my stomach queasy.
Associate producer here, Jim Kelly, just came up with a great idea. For $2,000, would you be willing to get on one of those rides that you're so terrified of? All the money goes to the families behind the Badge Children's Foundation.
So the Jersey Devil Coaster, 58 miles an hour, 130-foot drop.
I want to see Philadelphia, Seek's new morning show host, who tragically perished on Boardwalk.
Do it right now. GregStockerStocks.com. All the money goes to the families behind the Badge Children's Foundation.
Yeah.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Do you know your numbers? What numbers? Your heart health numbers, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, and your body mass index. They're important, so ask your doctor. Learn your numbers, and if something doesn't seem right with them, see a Deborah specialist at one of our offices throughout South Jersey. After all, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. Find a specialist near you at demanddeborah.org.
Attention hot tub enthusiasts, soak in the relaxation at Spring Dance Hot Tubs. For a limited time only, get 0% financing for 60 months on the Philly Special $735 hot tub for as little as $100 a month. And indulge in our Hot Spring Grandy models starting at just $250 a month. Plus, get free Freshwater IQ Smart Monitoring System and Salt System. Visit us for $500 off all smart top covers and 20% off all Spa Frog products. Hurry, offers end June 28th. Visit Spring Dance Hot Tubs today. Subject to credit approval, see store for details.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water quality continues to be in topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Kinetico water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Kinetico system improves all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap? Crystal clear, all natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Visit martinwater.com. martinwater.com. Be sure to tell them Dom sent you.
We don't care who you vote for in the upcoming election. You know why? Because this is not a political ad. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group meet with people every day wondering if they should be doing something different with their money because it's an election year. At Retire Ready Financial Group, we want you to know where your money is, how it's performing, and if the market does go down, how does it affect your retirement? We call it a portfolio snapshot, and we do it at no charge. Our goal is for you to have confidence as you enter retirement. confidence to spend, and confidence that you won't run out of money. Let's vote those election worries right out of your retirement. For your complimentary portfolio snapshot, call 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or go to retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James B. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I've been talking for years about my buddy Roy and the original Batteries Plus Bulbs 18 years ago that he founded on Route 73 in Mount Laurel. And when you stop in now, you mention my name, you're going to be entered to win a $50 gift certificate to use at the Mount Laurel and Northfield locations. No purchase necessary. For anything that you want fixed, repaired that involves technology, 856-638-0778. Batteries Plus Bulbs, Mount Laurel and Northfield.
The Don Stensland Show. Don Stensland live and local on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Yeah, so thanks for all your response on X, on social media, at Dawn Stensland. I tweeted out this morning, they can't handle the truth. Go Trump. So many of you. Thanks to Chris, Joe, Tony, Kev, Sharon, Kimmy, Rick, Matt. We're having fun out here, but thanks for all your different likes and your comments as we were talking about the fact that we got thrown off of YouTube this morning, right when I started talking about the truth. We got to keep the truth alive here on WPHT, Talk Radio 1210. Dawn Stensland here, 855-839-1210. You know, the statement from the current Education U.S. Secretary, Miguel Cardona, had said, for more than 50 years, Title IX has promised an equal opportunity to learn and thrive in our nation's schools, free from sex discrimination. These final regulations build on the legacy of Title IX by clarifying that all our nation's students can access schools that are safe, welcoming, and respect their rights. Schools could violate Title IX if a transgender person is not allowed to use the bathroom aligned with their gender identity, or if they are not referred to by their chosen pronoun, and that is from senior administration officials. So that's the stance of the Biden administration. My question, which to me personally, I feel this is a total disrespectful situation, disrespecting of women and girls. But at the end of the day, when I think about Title IX, and there's no question that girls in sports, all these wonderful scholarships are fantastic. They're good for girls and women. There's no question. And the scholarships are game changers. But at the end of the day, is Title IX and all the scholarships technically, isn't that discrimination against, biological males? Think about all the boys and young men who are top athletes, but because they have to spread the wealth around with scholarships, many of the top athletes who are young men or students in private schools, etc., they don't get a scholarship, or they don't get as much money because, we have to split up that money, those federal dollars, and split up the money to the girls who are the lesser athletes. Is it discrimination? Because we're not technically giving to the best athletes. We've now split it up by gender. So is, in fact, the real flaw in legislation like this? It was created by a Republican. It was created by Nixon, okay? So you can't say that I'm being partisan. But maybe, just maybe, the answer is that biggity big federal legislation like this, it had good intentions. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe these scholarships need to be privatized. And then the private sector can choose who gets these scholarships. And by the way, these scholarships cannot be weaponized as Joe Biden and his administration are weaponizing them. Maybe that's the real answer. 855-839-1210 is the number to call. We have so much to talk about. We got to get into what's going on in Jersey. It's getting nasty. Talking about, is this a case of weaponization of government? Well, we'll see. We'll talk about it. What's going on in Jersey? What's going on in Philadelphia? Thanks for being here. This is the Dawn Stensland Show. We'll be right back.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-688-6641.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Get slimmer for this summer without any shots. NJ Diet is nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. You will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, contractually guaranteed. NJ Diet uses your hair and saliva along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements to get you to shed that fat quickly. Then, NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. You are fully monitored the entire time, and you even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations close by in Cherry Hill, King of Prussia, Princeton, and Newark, Delaware. Or NJ Diet is available from home with live online video consultations. Lose the weight the natural way, quickly and safely. Call 855-5NJ-DIET. Or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. Get slimmer for the summer and without any shots. That's njdiet.com to lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. Go to njdiet.com and lose the weight for good.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. If you drive a car, you want it to last a long time and not cost you lots of money in the long run. You need to get your car serviced at United Tire and Service. I get my car serviced at one of their 10 locations throughout the Delaware Valley. You should too. Right now, get an oil change on any make or model, and they'll do a free summer trip check so you're ready to hit the road. 20-point safety check, brakes, belts, important fluid levels, lights, even the spare tire. To find the location nearest you, go to UnitedTire.com. That's UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
We've got on Capitol Hill in D.C., we have COVID hearings, COVID origins. I love it. And I hope we push for truth and transparency. And someday, I know the truth will come out, as my great-grandma Rose used to say. The truth always comes out in the worst, she'd say. Hey, thanks for being here. Man, if you chose this week as a vacation week to be at the Jersey Shore, and I know we're rounding out the week with Zioli as well as Dom Giordano on Friday. We'll be down the Jersey Shore in Wildwood and Cape May and so on. Man, you look like a genius. You're so lucky. I'm just looking at all the images and on social media, people putting out saying, I'm at the Jersey Shore. It's such a beautiful beach day, because it is hot here. So stay safe. But things are getting hot. Things are heating up in the campaign. It's only June, but I think that because we're 9 days away from the first POTUS debate, Biden v. Trump, I think the presidential debate and the presidential race is really heating up this week. Earlier than normal, because of really a historic debate that's in June. We've never seen this in our nation's history. That's pretty huge. But we also have that COVID origins debate. Everybody's talking about the heat. I know it's hot out there. I know we're in the 90s. Drink lots of water, stay cool, stay in the shade, and stay listening to us here. One more reason to just stay inside and listen to us today. So let's talk about it. We got to get into the whole issue of George Norcross. So when I saw this story, and I know you've heard about it now, I know that Rich Zioli, I knew he'd be all over this because they had the news conference yesterday, and then he had the great Matt Rooney, who's an attorney, on yesterday afternoon. Fantastic. But my initial take, right when I heard about the news conference with Norcross, I thought, oh man, this is payback right here. So you think about, George Norcross, if you don't know the name or you don't know what's happening, Matt, the other Matt. Remember on the Zioli show, and we had the story of the Kensington hottie in Wildwood, and she actually won her lawsuit, but she was defiant against a law enforcement officer in Wildwood who they ruled never did anything wrong, but she was a little toughy. So she was screaming out Matt. We had that audio drop, if you remember. There's another Matt, and that is Matt, who's the bad Matt. He's bad Matt from New Jersey. He's the attorney general. If you remember years ago when I covered the Katie Brennan case, do you remember this? I'll have to pull the audio on this. I was still, at that point, I was working for TV, if you remember. And so for Jersey Matters and for the TV station that aired in New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia. And I covered that entire proceeding in Trenton at the Capitol building there when Katie Brennan, a very credible young lady who worked under the Murphy administration, and she testified in a very credible manner about the allegation that she said that she had been sexually assaulted by a fellow Murphy supporter. And this was when Governor Murphy was running for governor. And she put that out there. She told what happened. And then we learned about what can only be called a cover-up and being ignored. I thought that, the Me Too movement was all about believing her. What happened to that? Well, Matt Platkin at the time, he was somebody who was helping in that whole cover-up situation. He was explaining everything, said he was friends with Katie. He knew about it. What did you do? Nothing. And so when Murphy promoted him, if you remember, Governor Phil Murphy promoted him to his AG, and I think this is Murphy's second AG. I thought, oh, well, this is a nice little payback for the loyalty that you had shown. But to me, I really lost respect at the time for Matt Platkin, truly. As I listened to him during live testimony and claimed that he was friends, knew this young woman, and felt for her and believed her. They said, well, did you believe her? Yes, of course I did. This was a public hearing. TV stations covering it, right? Well, why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you investigate? And then the tap dance began. And remember, even when Katie had said that she had, I believe, texted or emailed the governor's office, Governor Phil Murphy personally had said something to the effect of, we've got you, we've got your back, and then nothing. Finally, she spoke out to a publication, right, a national publication, because she felt so frustrated that nobody was investigating this. And in fact, gave the man that she was accusing, gave him a huge raise, and that she would have to see him and work with him. And so this is the hypocrisy of those progressives who say one thing, they say that they believe her, but they don't. He was such a little weasel. And I'll never remember just looking at him thinking, oh, this guy's, what a weasel. I mean, if you're friends with somebody and you believe them that they were assaulted and you do nothing, what does that make you? So now fast forward to this news conference held in Trenton. Now Attorney General Matt Platkin standing there accusing George Norcross III, who, by the way, was the former Democratic National Committee member, one-time head of the Camden County Democrat Party. Let us not forget, you know who his brother is and so on. Leading now, they're accusing him of basically being some kind of a mob boss, if you will. I mean, that was really the way he laid it out. What did he call it? Norcross Enterprise. And he really was grandstanding. You got to give it to Norcross, who I've interviewed before in my TV days, and during the Zioli Show days. You got to give it to Norcross. This guy's got some big cojones. He sat like right in the front row. I mean, maybe right there, where certainly the AG Platkin could see him as he sat there and he listened, and then even his attorney asks, kind of joins in the press pool for this news conference and is asking questions. I mean, it was. You couldn't have scripted this in some kind of a movie scene. Probably will be a movie scene. But the Platkin laying this out, accusing Norcross of leading a criminal enterprise, as well as 5 alleged co-conspirators also indicted in this grand jury indictment. So Platkin does the big unveiling, the indictment yesterday afternoon. Also, by the way, named Norcross's brother Philip, the longtime lawyer William Tambusi, the former Camden mayor Dana Redd, all of them among these co-defendants. By the way, the former mayor, Redd, her attorney speaking out, saying she did nothing wrong and looks forward to her day in court. I'm paraphrasing, but that she is innocent. All these individuals say this is not true. What does this stem from? Now think about what year this is. What year is this? Oh, we're midway through 2024. When do these charges stem from? Oh, back from 2012 and 2013. Well over a decade ago. By the way, they don't have a statute of limitations on stuff like this. I just question how come nobody ever, investigated or saw this alleged huge criminal enterprise, and they just let this thing go? Really? For more than a decade? 12 years, yeah. So they say that Norcross sought to redevelop the waterfront in Camden, which of course overlooks Philadelphia prime, waterfront properties, etc. This is a newly unsealed indictment. It claims Norcross threatened a developer, at least one developer, who would not relinquish his rights to waterfront property, claiming that George Norcross III used his political clout to orchestrate tax incentives to be enacted to benefit organizations that he controlled. Now, Norcross is known, he's a Democrat, but he was known as working with governors of both parties, but especially for former Republican Governor Chris Christie. Here's what Politico wrote about this, as they call this a real bomb going off in Jersey politics. quote, this is Politico, quote, Christie was arguably his closest governing partner and whose administration worked with Norcross and his allies to design the tax credit system that Norcross is charged with exploiting. Again, I love that Norcross just sat literally feet from the front row, so that he was certainly in the line of sight of Platkin, who probably had to be a little nervous about this. So Platkin accusing the group, which he repeatedly, like I said, referred to as the Norcross Enterprise, accused them of hijacking a 2013 state tax credit program that was designed to encourage development in poorer communities, and then using it selfishly, allegedly, to line their own pockets. They maintained their control, he claims, through coercion, extortion, and yes, even threats. So I'll just remind you who was governor during this time. Obviously, Christie, as you know, was governor of New Jersey, Republican, from 2010 to 2018. But I'll remind you of this. Who was Norcross? Who did he grow up with? One of his BFFs, one former state senator, Steve Sweeney, very powerful. Remember, we were all shocked in that upset when Ed the Trucker, Republican, beat Democrat Sweeney. Remember that whole thing? And that was really just Sweeney taking it for granted, truthfully. But I want you to think about that trio when Governor Chris Christie had the close working relationship with Norcross and Sweeney. And so think about Democrat Phil Murphy when he took over in the governorship and butting heads. And Phil Murphy had butted heads big time with Sweeney. Remember this? And remember that Sweeney was, always backed by his longtime, I believe they went to grade school together. So Sweeney was, a longtime friend and was supported certainly by Norcross. Is this political payback? Is this Governor Phil Murphy using his power and influence to, in fact, go after former, political enemies? Because Sweeney, Norcross, Governor Chris Christie, over an 8-year period, they developed a close relationship, a working relationship, and a friendship. And so is it that? Is it something that's weaponized government yet again? Is this Phil Murphy doing this? So after the news conference was held, Norcross, who's 68 years old, self-made, I think he initially made his money in banking and insurance and all of that. He called Platkin, quote, a politician masquerading as an attorney general. He accused Platkin of carrying out a years-long political vendetta. I don't think he said Murphy by name, but he said the extraordinary, and all of this, by the way, just blocks away from the State House, where Norcross over the years had become accustomed, and I think the Inquirer wrote the line, Norcross had become accustomed to being treated as a distinguished guest by governors and lawmakers alike. Yes, that's true. And I interviewed him many times in that State House over the years. So I can tell you, yes, that is the truth. He said, here's a statement. I want to go to trial in 2 weeks. I want Matt Platkin to come down here and try this case himself. That's what Norcross said. Because he's a coward. Because he has forced people in this building to implement his will. So the Inquirer called it a seismic impact. I mean, this is receiving national coverage of the Jersey power brokers, if you will. But is this just part of the Jersey game? And is Phil Murphy the king, as Zioli calls him? He's the king for now. But will Murphy be subject to these kinds of years-long investigations? For example, I will remind you, and I had that audio for you many years ago during the pandemic, in which Governor Phil Murphy had ordered Judy Persicelli, his health director, to force elderly, sick COVID patients into those nursing homes. And remember the audio that was on a conference call, a Zoom call, when one of those people running the nursing home said, people will die. And they were trying to push back on this. People will die. And then when Murphy's right-hand person was silent, knowing that this was being recorded, they even said, look, silence. Silence. They're not saying anything. So what comes around goes around. And I think this is the merry-go-round, if you will, of the weaponization of government. That's really what I thought. That was just my initial take. Maybe you have a different thought, 855-839-1210. But Norcross was defiant. He was angry, and he was defiant. So we'll follow this very carefully. 855-839-1210. Quick break. Be right back.
It's officially summer, and the Zioli Army is headed to Cape May. Let's storm the beaches of Cape May at the Grand Hotel. Join me for our live show Friday, June 21st. Can't wait to see you there at my happy place, the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. And we're going to have a very special surprise guest hanging out with us as well. So make it a priority. Put it on your calendar today. Friday, June 21st, 3 to 7 p.m., live at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey, grandhotelcapemay.com.
Virtua Health, real patients, real doctors, real complex cases. Take one.
Open heart surgery, tear in my aorta.
The most complex cases come to us at Virtua Health.
I'm sure I wouldn't have been here without you.
Being a 45-year-old, not being able to walk up one flight of stairs, I had no idea I was in heart failure.
Virtua is a premier heart failure center in South Jersey.
They changed my life. It's truly a blessing.
Want to follow our stories? Go to virtua.org. Virtua Health, here for good.
This is Jordan Lundy.
And this is Len Lundy. Lundy Law has won billions for our clients.
But more importantly, we've won the trust and confidence of thousands of people injured in motor vehicle crashes, slip and fall accidents, and work-related injuries.
My son and I hope we never meet you because of an accident. But if we do, we're here for you.
Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit lundylaw.com for a free consultation.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-353-9057, 800-353-9057, or biglou.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano inviting you to join me in Wildwood at Mulligan Shore Bar this Friday, June 21st, to celebrate Dom Giordano Day in Wildwood. We have an action-packed day planned, national guest of honor Scott Presler joining us, lots of local guests, and of course, entertainment by Burning Sky, the ultimate Bad Company tribute band. It'll be a great day in Wildwood. Blow off work Friday. Join me at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood starting at noon. Mulligan's at 310 West Hildreth Avenue in Wildwood. Details at 1210WPHT.com.
If it's been a minute since you've considered an Infiniti, now's the time to check out the Bush Auto Group. At Bush Infiniti of Westchester, we have exceptional offers just for you. Enjoy rates as low as 4.9% for 36 months on Infiniti certified pre-owned vehicles. Plus, every new Infiniti comes with 3 years free maintenance. Don't wait. Visit in-store today at Bush Infiniti of Westchester or online at infinityofwestchester.com. Philly rides with us.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Yeah, so I'll have to dig up the TV story. It would have been in around 2017-ish. And remember that Sweeney race, that Senate race, and he was, the Senate president in New Jersey was busting the chops of Governor Phil Murphy, right? And so that was, I think that still holds the record for the most expensive Senate, local, statewide Senate race, one of in the nation. You're looking at, I think it was nearly 20 million, something like that. It was crazy. Norcross helped him win that. And when you think about the teachers union had always backed, for example, the opponents and Governor Phil Murphy. So there's a lot of bad blood going on here. So we'll have to find that one. But just your thoughts on it as far as whether or not you really think that was weaponization of government. Is it revenge? That's what Norcross is claiming. All right. We needed to talk about what's going on in Philadelphia. The headlines with Mayor Sherrell Parker talking about, first of all, we've got school vouchers in Pennsylvania in play. And TikTok, think about it. This is June 18th. So the new fiscal year starts obviously in July. So we're working on a Pennsylvania budget, and they're still, really working on that in Harrisburg, but we don't have the budget quite yet. School vouchers poised again to be the sticking point that could stall the state budget past, again, the June 30th deadline. We got that going on. Sherrell Parker yesterday in the headlines as she was saying that in Philadelphia, what her administration and what police are doing here, sounds like she believes what's happening here in Philadelphia is historic in the nation, that nobody's really done what they've done at this level. So what am I talking about? We had the graduation class, the latest class, congratulations if that's you, in law enforcement, Philadelphia police, as we have our new recruits, if you will. So where are they headed? 75 members of this graduating class headed to Kensington. Yes, beautiful Kensington. And not for nothing, but you're in your new uniform, right? It's all like kind of stiffer than normal because it's like a brand new uniform. And it feels like it's like 110 degrees out and you're in Kensington. Yeesh. Talk about baptism by fire, right? But Sherrell Parker, good for her. I mean, celebrating the police. And I don't know if we have the audio. It seems like the TV stations yesterday didn't get a lot of the best audio. I'm searching for some of this. But as I think about what went down as Sherrell Parker, she was speaking as she was announcing her new fire commissioner that we've talked about a lot this morning, but as well talking about the police force and that in Kensington, the Kensington section of Philadelphia, the police force triples this week. And I've been talking about this for weeks to come, that they were educating the public that they were coming, but they're saying more arrests are on the horizon. And Mayor Parker saying there's really no playbook for this. But I think it's significant when you think of our police commissioner speaking out and getting a huge, loud, applause by the crowd there, all law enforcement, talking about the fact that, that this is in the face of and despite the defund the police movement, and essentially saying to our newest recruits, you're our heroes. And you are. If you're working in law enforcement and you've stuck with it, and I know many of you have told me privately, Dawn, I put in for retirement, I can't do this anymore. But I agree with our Philadelphia Police Commissioner, Kevin Bethel, that you are our heroes for sticking with it as long as you have, or if you're brand new on the job, baptism by fire and this heat wave and taking this on to keep us safe. God bless you. And we'll say a prayer for your safety in our city with everything that's happened. But this is the way to turn this around. And I hope that in the media, I wish they would get more coverage. I think that these new recruits should be hailed as heroes. And not just the new recruits, all of you, because you are the answer. And just think about police presence. I live in the city of Philadelphia. It's unusual in Mount Airy, Chestnut Hill, the Northwest section. It's unusual for me to see law enforcement anymore as far as on a regular basis, especially driving by my house. It's rare. I got to be honest. You just don't see the patrols like we used to, the bike patrols. We're just down in the numbers. Now, they're saying it's more than 100 still, or more than 1,000 still. But when you count the fact that you have people who give their retirement notice, and you have to give notices, through the union, it's even more than that. So this is going to take years. We're in a deficit situation. But they've done a good job. They're getting high praise as far as the chaotic removal of the the homeless encampment last month. And I would say this, that it happened one morning. We were shocked here. Remember that? Boom. They came in earlier than expected and just whoosh, cleaned it up. Was it chaotic? That's how it's being described. Chaotic. I don't know. I thought it was quick. It was like, nope, we're cleaning this up. Garbage trucks, big trucks move through, apparatus, blowers. Whoosh, they just cleaned it up.
I think people are just surprised that a politician is following through on what they said they would do.
I think you're right, Henry. But the rookies will report to the 24th Police District today. This is the day, and they're expected to hit the streets later in this week in 3 shifts, about 40 officers at a time. A lot of progressives are saying, this is upsetting to, what about the drug dealers and the drug users, and they should be able to, this is just going to encourage them to use bad needles and AIDS and this and that. Again, they never talk about, well, what about the people who live there, right? And many of the residents are senior citizens. What about them? Can you imagine if you're that resident and you've been scared to go outdoors or scared to go out and sit on your front porch and you see all of these officers? And I hope that they thank them and say, thank you, officer. Oh, you're new? Congratulations. I do. I hope they wish them a congratulations. But they certainly received quite a congratulations as Mayor Sherelle Parker told the class, number 402, 402nd class, she said, I'm forever going to remember you. She said, quote, your deployment is going to be something different. Your deployment is going to be something never done in the history of our policing world. Well, this is Bethel saying this, excuse me. Mayor Sherelle Parker said, I'm forever going to remember you. Commissioner Bethel was the one who said, your deployment is going to be something different, remembered and making history in the policing world. Commissioner Bethel saying, you'll be deployed in one of the most challenging areas in Philadelphia and in America. Commissioner Bethel saying, there is no playbook for this. There is no playbook to dismantle the open drug market. And so I hope that they feel inspired. I hope that every one of our new recruits, the class number 402, in my book, you are first class. And we thank you. We appreciate you as well as all of your fellow officers. And Godspeed as we clean up our beautiful city of Philadelphia. And perhaps Philadelphia will be an example in the nation. And so this is a situation where maybe the Democrat Party finds redemption in one Sherelle Parker, first female mayor of our great old city. I'm Dawn Stensland, 855-839-1210, the number to call. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
The heat and humidity will continue to build each day across the Delaware Valley. A heat advisory is now in effect. Sunshine and clouds today with a high 92 but feeling like the mid-90s. Tonight, partly cloudy and warm with a low 70. And for Wednesday, mixture of sunshine and clouds, hot and humid, high 92.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Today, we're the largest injury firm in the world, and I'm thankful to you for trusting us all these years. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop. But the playoffs just ended. Boston Celtics won, and now we get fewer games. But it's okay. Have no fear, because with FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, it keeps the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. During the summer, FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long.
All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg, and make the most out of your summer. You still have baseball. The Phillies are playing well. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Don't forget, FanDuel.com/Greg. 21 and over, present in Pennsylvania. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Have you questioned your doctor about symptoms like low energy, digestive issues, brain fog, joint pain, just not feeling right, just something is off, and you're only left settling for unanswered questions, or worse, being told it's just because you're getting older? You don't have to settle for unanswered questions any longer. With Younger Me MD's exclusive VIP membership program, aging doesn't have to make you feel older. Their proven 3-step process and functional medicine approach helps you discover the underlying causes of your issues. As a member, you get access to high-level personalized treatment plans, as well as discounts on treatments and supplements. If you're ready to live the life you deserve, it's time to learn about Younger Me MD's VIP membership program. Call 445-266-4024. 445-266-4024. That's 445-266-4024. And schedule your consultation with Younger Me, MD.
Hey, pet parents, the summer season is here, and that means it's time to get outside and enjoy some sunshine with your pet. Hi, I'm George Parenti, the lead dog at the Dogs and Cats Rule stores. The stores are loaded with great summer collections of outdoor and interactive toys. We carry the finest selection of fresh diets, like gently cooked, raw, freeze-dried, air-dried, dehydrated, baked, and of course, traditional kibble and cans. Dogs and Cats Rule with 7 neighborhood locations. Visit dogsandcatsrule.pet. That's Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
The caramelized onions that stole Thanksgiving. Dad's legendary VLT on rye toast. Life's most enduring moments deserve to be set in stone. And at Colonial Marble and Granite, a fully installed granite stone kitchen countertop can be yours for as little as $1,499. Some restrictions apply. See colonialmarble.net for details. Colonial Marble and Granite, the cornerstone of a beautiful home.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
With the help of everyone here tonight, we're going to win this state in November. We're going to evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House. We're going to put America first, and we are going to, quite simply, make America great again. Less than 4 years ago, our border was secure. Inflation was nowhere to be seen. We had it down to a science. The world was at peace. And instead of weakness and failure, America was stronger and more respected than ever before. It was never so respected as it was for 4 years, just 4 years ago. Now, under crooked Joe Biden, the world is in flames. We have a country that's being laughed at all over the world. Our border is overrun. Inflation is raging. Europe is in chaos. The Middle East is exploding. Iran is totally emboldened. They were broke when I was president. China is on the march. And the worst, most incompetent, most corrupt president in history is dragging us toward World War III. Under crooked Joe Biden, illegal aliens are better off, terrorists are better off, China is better off, Russia is better off, the cartels are better off, but the American people were far better off when you had a president named Donald J. Trump. Has anyone heard of him? Has anyone heard of him?
Happy birthday, Mr. President. So that was Trump over the weekend to a fired up crowd. Are you going? Jimmy Kelly said your mom got tickets to this Saturday.
Yeah, she managed to get some tickets.
Yeah, so you can still get the tickets. I think they're still available, so you can, you have to line up early, though, in the heat, no less. But this is Trump, as he was alluding to, and he went on to talk more about it as it was over the weekend when he spoke, and that we had learned more about that illegal immigrant, illegal individual who's an accused killer in his home country, coming to this country and residing here illegally, and then preying upon and brutally murdering that young mom of 5, and her family grieving and all of that. I started out at 10 o'clock if you missed that, talking about it. But New York's highest court has just declined to hear Trump's appeal on the gag order in his bookkeeping case. So the gag order, as you know, issued by Judge Juan Merchan in the criminal case against Trump, that remains in effect. And the Trump team has asked Merchan to terminate the gag order ahead of the sentencing, which, remember, is scheduled for July 11th. And so the former president, yes, the jury found him guilty on all 34 counts of business fraud. That's the basic allegation. They call it the hush money thing. It was a bookkeeping business type fraud. That's what they found on the 34 counts. I don't see comment from Trump or his legal team. Okay, so we're looking at this one, but will the Supreme Court, will any one of these cases land in the hands of the Supreme Court? I will say this: I wish Republicans. I know Congressman Byron Donalds over the weekend was speaking out. I think we played that yesterday. Mike Johnson. I really wish Republicans would not talk about the fact that, the Supreme Court needs to intervene. Why are you doing that? First of all, they know that there's a process. So if at the end of the day, the appeals process takes it to the Supreme Court, then that will happen. But there is a procedure. And quite frankly, the procedure is good for many reasons, but for Trump, it's a good thing, because if you look at the process by which they have to go down through the appeals, none of these are going to make their way to a court. And we've talked a lot about this. Because of the appeals that everybody's allowed to get, this never makes its way into an actual trial prior to November 5th. Now, I don't know. I wanted to hear from you. Have you heard the new Biden ads where Biden, they're talking about the convicted felon? It occurs to me in this last, sound clip, hearing Trump, he always says crooked Joe Biden. You can't get that out of your head, can you? Crooked Joe Biden, crooked Joe Biden. What do you think is worse, crooked Joe Biden or convicted felon? See, I think in a way that's part of the reason the Democrats wanted so badly to go back and find a way to get this, which is why I believe it's a persecution. I believe they orchestrated this because these charges are so old. If they thought that there was something here that many years ago, nearly 18 years ago, that's when we're talking about this beginning, why didn't they do something then? And even if you want to count when he was running for president and then the bookkeeper put the thing in the column that they say is the wrong column when he was already president, by the way. So to me, I don't think that makes sense or rings true that he was trying to influence the election. But none of this makes sense that all these years later, they came out with this. The timing of it is just impeccable, isn't it? It's not going to go anywhere. But the gag order restricts President Trump's core political speech. This is the statement from his attorneys in the appeal. his core political speech on matters of central importance at the height of his presidential campaign, where he is the leading candidate, and thus it violates the fundamental right of every American voter to hear the leading candidate for president on matters of enormous public importance. I believe also, and I have the ruling in front of me from the judge, but I believe that the Trump team in this particular appeal also pointed out the new campaign ads, and that he's not even allowed to answer his political opponent. You see what I'm saying? I have to wonder if now they'll take it back and say, well, now that we have these new ads calling him the convicted felon, etc., shouldn't he, if you listen to the ad, shouldn't he at least be able to answer that? So I've just gotten the ruling. They just put this out from the court. All this is public record. You don't have to take my word for it. Sometimes you like to bust my chops. You don't like Trump or what have you. You can look all of this up. We tease in the morning. Greg Stocker always says, don't get your news from Twitter. I never, with a capital N, I never get my news from Twitter. I go to the actual, that's why I'm always looking up the audio. Even if we don't play all the audio, I try to look at the actual, what's called the raw video of an event. I try to go get the court documents. That's what I'm reading from. Just FYI. All right, I guess I have to take a quick break. Quick break, your thoughts, 855-839-1210. We do have some audio I want to get to, and we'll be a little faster paced. Get to the audio, your calls, 855-839-1210. On this hot day, I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Be right back.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Our next Talk Radio 1210 WPHT Politics and Pints. I'll be hosting #1 international best-selling author, Navy SEAL Jack Carr. That's right, June 25th. Tuesday night, June 25th at the Zlock Performing Arts Center, Bucks County Community College in Newtown, PA. Tickets are on sale now, and they will sell out. Go to 1210WPHT.com and get your tickets. And I want to see you there. And if not, remember, I got a guy, and he's a Navy SEAL. See you then.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Oops. Ever had your singing lessons cut short by icy water?
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Say goodbye to those cold notes with Navien tankless water heaters. With Navien, you'll hit all the right notes without the surprise chill. So keep singing and let Navien keep the hot water flowing. And get ready for the encore when you get your utility bill.
La 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 la.
Navien tankless water heaters. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. If you have a fear of the dentist, you're not alone. My friend and board-certified prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz, is known for helping you overcome your fear and anxiety. Patients have come to Dr. Bentz from all over Pennsylvania, South Jersey, some even farther from New York, Florida, even Washington State. One of our listeners have been putting off much-needed dental work. Get this, for 8 years due to fear and anxiety. After hearing me talk about how great Dr. Bentz was with fearful patients, she reached out, made an appointment, traveling from Ocean City, New Jersey to East Norriton just for Dr. Bentz. She still comes back for routine care. That's how good Dr. Bentz and his entire staff are. They go out of their way to help your fear and anxiety. Now's the time to call Dr. Robert Bentz, the Bentz Dental Group. See the Bentz difference. Make that appointment today. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com or call 610-272-6949, 610-272-6949.
There's nothing quite like local. Local is your weekly farmer's market or homemade strawberry ice cream. It's live music on the corner, yoga in the park, and a chance to try something new. That's why AARP is local, right here in our community, offering free events and enriching experiences that can help with finances, family, and fun. Join AARP Philadelphia on June 25th for a free virtual floral arrangement session with Longwood Gardens. Learn more at aarp.org/local.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, or back that won't go away? Check out QC Kinetics. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000.
Get slimmer for the summer by losing a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or go to njdiet.com. Get ready for spring with njdiet.com.
The plumbing experts at Hutchinson Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Heating are here to help. Whether you've got leaky pipes, a clogged drain, or a water heater disaster, Hutchinson has your back. And right now, get $50 off any plumbing repair. Same-day service, expert technicians, and a job done right the first time. Need a plumber today? Visit HutchComfort.com, and Hutchinson's help is on the way.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
So I have the docket in front of me. As I say, it's a developing story this hour as New York's highest court has left the Trump gag order in the bookkeeping Judge Juan Merchan case in effect. Biden releasing that new campaign ad. Let's just listen to a piece of it because I played Trump, saying crooked Joe Biden will evict him and make America great again. So let's listen in here. Let's just take a piece of it. I don't know if you've heard it or if you want to hear it, so we'll cut it off. We're not going to play the whole thing.
In the courtroom, we see Donald Trump for who he is. He's been convicted of 34 felonies, found liable for sexual assault, and he committed financial fraud. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's been working, lowering healthcare costs and making big corporations pay their fair share. This election is between a convicted criminal who's only out for himself and a president who's fighting for your family.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this.
In the courtroom.
Right. So we should do a parody of this and say, Joe Biden's been out freezing in certain moments on stage, led off stage by the Easter Bunny, pooping his pants. We should just do like our own little parody thing of, how's your economy, America?
Joe Biden's afraid to come to the hood. You know it, and so do we. But Donald Trump, he's ready. Donald Trump, not afraid to come to the hood.
Yeah, and that's one of the, headlines is, as somebody had said, and we see this on social media with people here in Philadelphia going, Donald Trump's coming to the hood. He's coming to Temple, North Philadelphia. A lot of excitement. By the way, this group of 24 Republican state attorneys general filing that amicus brief in former President Trump's classified documents case, asking the Florida court not to grant special counsel Jack Smith's gag order request and calling that one presumptively unconstitutional, saying that free and fair elections in the U.S. depend on candidates' ability to speak about important issues of the day. So these are 24 states, 24 representing this. And so they're led by the Iowa AG, Brenna Bird, the group of, these are top state prosecutors arguing that the branch of government, even the judiciary, should be cautious about, and I'm quoting here, abridging core political speech, especially core political speech relating to a presidential election. So we've got that one going on.
You know, if you want it here, I do have audio of a pastor in Detroit thanking Trump for coming to the hood.
Oh, let's listen in. Thank you, Henry.
President Trump, I'm so humbled that you would be here. President Obama never came to the hood, so to speak, right? President Joe Biden, he went to the big NAACP dinner, but he never came to the hood. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Very humble.
Really nice. Thank you. My honor.
But see, I think a lot of what we're seeing as well is a lot of this progressive nonsense that, to her credit, Mayor Sherrill Parker, she's not having a part of it. And I think that in cities like Philadelphia, a lot of people and pastors are saying, what in the world is going on? And they're not having a part of this progressive stuff. They're not having it. And I think that's a piece of it that maybe we're not talking about enough, that it all goes hand in hand, this Title IX nonsense, the immigration nonsense, which affects working people here in Philadelphia. It affects people in poorer performing school districts for sure, because now, and I think I told you this years ago, I had a relative newly married when she and her husband were looking for a home, and this was Chester County, and a principal actually confided in her because she was doing what a lot of people do in our region, especially in Bucks County. They were shopping for the best private schools, or public schools, I should say, and then looking for a house by the school. That's how they were house hunting, thinking, we'll fix up the house. We don't care about the house. We care about the quality of the school and a good public school. And there was a principal at the time who confided and said, you know what, we're so overwhelmed right now. This was, more than a year ago, saying, or more than 2 years ago, I think, we're overwhelmed with non-English speaking kids. So this one, you want to go over here. And by the way, that same couple now thinking about private schools for other reasons, for the Title IX type issues. You know what I'm saying? So we have to follow all of this very carefully. We have to be aware. And I think that's just it. When we talk about weaponization of government, a lot of this is it's much like it reminds me of COVID, when all of a sudden our spidey senses were evoked, if you will. Your meter inside your head, and you're thinking, something's not quite right here. Remember? At first, we thought, oh, okay, 2 weeks to slow the spread. Okay, it's kind of like a fun little spring break with the kids. And then it wasn't so fun. And then it felt like something different. And I think that's part of what happened, Fauci on his book tour. And I know that they're having those situations right now as we speak. You know what? Can you take Rand Paul really quick? I think Rand Paul is speaking live. Speaking of which, the guy who deserves all the... Oh, he's not? Okay, I see him on Fox Live. Dom Giordano, knowing Dom, will probably have him ahead. But Rand Paul is speaking live at this hearing, pressing the experts on the lab leak. But Rand Paul really deserves all the credit in the world, as Dom has talked about. I think that we would not know I wouldn't even know what gain of function really was. It wouldn't be on my headline. Can you take this really quick, or no? Never mind.
Notes on what you were saying, and it is so serious. And
so now it's Fox. They're off Rand. Knowing Dom Giordano, he'll have Rand to talk about this further. That's okay. He's had Senator Paul on many times. But I really have to think that we have to celebrate those individuals. Thank God we do have some doctors like Dr. Rand Paul, Senator Rand Paul, who could call Fauci out and see his BS, because that's really what it was. But sometimes I think in all of this, we have to look at what's being done. And so I'm telling you, this whole issue resonates with so many people who are now activated. And once you see it, once you see it, you can never unsee it, right? That's what's happening in America today with different communities that I would submit to you are traditionally Democrats. Now they've seen it. They can't unsee it. And that's why they see a path to truth and justice, peace and prosperity. They see the path with DJT, Donald J. Trump. Dom Giordano is here. Hey, Dom.
Hey, thanks very much, Dawn. Yeah, Rand Paul is the guy. Nobody else is a doctor. No one pressed Fauci harder. We'll talk about that. Scott Presler here to give us the final touches as we head to Mulligan's on Friday.
Awesome. Great Dom Giordano show is next.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have